Hey everyone, what's up everybody? It's Coach Cody here and it is tutorial time. I personally am super excited for this design because this is a color combo that I've never done for Valentine's Day before. So I'm excited to try it out for you. I always like to try out new things for you guys to see kind of how they work, and I'm not afraid to see what happens, y'all. So I've already prepped my base with some mesh. You guys know we've done this a bajillion times, cutting it at about 20 inches, curling it in, and going around the outside ring of my wreath base. And this is a 20-inch wreath base. And I'm going to be using as my focal point for this design these adorable heart-shaped boxes. They actually came in 3 sizes. I bought the middle size and the largest size. They were from Home Goods, and they are Be My Valentine little treat boxes. So they're cardboard boxes, and that's what we're going to be using in our design. We're going to be using the entire box. So one was $6.99. See if I can get these off. Sometimes they can be a little tricky. One was $6.99, and the other was $7.99. So great price for these. And I think it's going to be super cute with our design. Now you can see that the boxes have some red and they have gold accents on there. But what caught my eye on these was the blue going around. So I thought that we could incorporate some blue into this design. And that would be a little different, unexpected element for our Valentine's design. So I'm going to be doing these with the larger one on the bottom and the smaller one on top of my design. And I need to see here, I can see where I can see some green. So we're going to put a little bit of mesh down in there to fill in that gap right in between. So this is the same way I did the mesh on the outside. I've got about a 20-inch piece, a curl in the ends, and then I'm going to scrunch it together. I'm going to take some of my evergreen base, and I'm going to twist those around. And I've got one more piece of this natural jute that's already trimmed, so I'm going to incorporate that one in as well. Alright, so that should fill in that middle spot quite a bit. Yep, that looks great to me, just like that. And what we're going to be doing, y'all, is we are going to be gluing on our lid. So I'm going to take my hot glue, and I'm going to go around the inside of my lid here. And then very carefully, I'm going to put that back on the box so that it gets nice and stuck on there. Can even go behind a little bit, kind of piping that on there. We are gluing the box shut. I also thought these boxes would be super cute for an arrangement, but I opted for the wreath. You know, you can take your lid and you can have it kind of sitting in the box and then do you a fun arrangement as well. But I thought that with some pops of blue, this would be a really pretty, unexpected wreath design for us to use. All right, so now I'm going to set these over to the side and let them dry, like so. Look how cute. All right, and then I've got all kinds of different greeneries that we can add in, as well as some lots of different glitter sprays. But something that I definitely wanted to incorporate was just some regular everyday greenery. So I pulled this one from my collection. I want to say this one was originally from Greenery Gal, but it is just a nice variegated greenery. I'm going to clip apart this entire bush, and we're going to get that working into our design base. Turn this sideways so that we can see a little bit better. And I'm even going to trim some of these a little bit shorter, cut those in half to get more bang for my buck. I'm going to start working these in all the way throughout and around my design. And then I'll go back in at the end and I will add in my hot glue to make sure they all stay nice and stuck. So these long pieces like this, we don't need it that long, so we can trim those in half so that we get more out of that bushel. Now, if we were doing an arrangement or something, we would absolutely want to keep those longer so that we could have some different heights variegating throughout our design. But for this purpose, it's great to cut them down and stretch them out farther. Again, I'm not gluing anything in yet. I'm just kind of inserting these in and gauging where all these pieces are going to go. This one here I will leave probably a little bit longer at the top, just to give us some length at the top of the design. I do like to take some of those pine branches and pinch those around some of them as well to make sure they stay nice and snug. All right, just like that. And then I'll take some of my other extra pieces and I'll hold those over to the side so we can add those in later. But for now, I think this looks nice. And I'm gonna go ahead and glue in all of these elements, and then we'll get our boxes glued in as well. So I'm just gonna take my high temp glue gun. I'm gonna drop some glue on each of these pieces that we've inserted. Right, then we're going to go ahead and get our boxes glued in. I'm going to start with the top one so I know it's right where I like it. And again, these are cardboard boxes, so they're super lightweight. But I am going to glob up some glue on the back side. And then I'll stick that right on where I'd like it to stay. Get all the mesh sitting how I like it. And then I'm going to butt right up against this one with the other. I do want them straight up and down. I thought about maybe turning them sideways because the Be My Valentine's kind of wrote at an angle, but I want it straight up and down. And then we'll get going on adding the other one just below it. So again, this is the largest box they had, and then the medium size. But you can absolutely use whatever size and style you wish, or whatever boxes you can find. I'm going to apply some pressure on this, and while I have a pressure applied, I'm going to grab and put some more glue all throughout around the corners and the edges of the box. Okay. Love it. I do have this other greenery as well that's got some bright white tips on there. This was from the spring section at Michael's, but I thought that we could add this in as well for some pops of brightness. So let's see what we can do with this one. This one is kind of in clusters too, so we might, sometimes when I use this, I just pull the cluster heads right off and insert those in like this. So I think that's probably what we're going to end up doing. But let's see. Add in some more greens. We'll go ahead and use up these other two pieces that we had left over. Now that we have the boxes in there, I can kind of fill in that void in between the boxes and the edge. And kind of start coming off the table. So everything that we laid down first was going out flat. Now I'm kind of coming up with my pieces. You can see how this is getting some brightness going around the little boxes. Look how pretty. I love this. This is so different. Typing in some glue. And y'all, I glue to all the things. I'll glue to the mesh. Whenever we add ribbon, I'll add glue to the ribbon. Cody puts glue on everything. Nothing is safe from the glue. I want to add some up there at the top as well. Other supplies flying around. One of the biggest things whenever I first started designing was figuring out kind of what season to use what, right? And it's okay to use kind of everyday greenery all year long, right? Even your pines and things, you could use those as well. And this little pop of this greenery like this is gonna get us looking forward to the spring season, right? New growth, new love, new things. All right, so now that's what we got going on. Very pretty. So the next thing I want to add in is a little bit of red. So I've got these sprays here. These are the picks from Hobby Lobby, and they were on clearance, of course, after Christmas. You guys know I always like to encourage you to purchase things by color so that you can use them all year long. So these are some red sprays, or red picks. And then we are going to just chop these apart. I get 3 pieces off each one. And then we're going to incorporate these all throughout the design. So let's start off with a couple. Then we'll go from there. But again, if you don't have a spray like this, or you don't find any red spray, or any really spray that has a nice fan to it, will work as well. Alright. Then we'll start adding these in. I'm going to start at the bottom, fanning them out a little bit, and I'm just going to kind of work my way around. These would be great for 4th of July as well, I think. Definitely as Christmas is getting that big sales happening, those deep discounts, make sure you're taking advantage of those. Cut that one down a little bit. Now we need a couple more pieces to make our way all the way around. smudging that in there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start gluing these ones up towards the top. So I can spin this back around. I do have one more, but we might add that later. Not really sure where I'd like to put that one. Super fun. All right, let's talk about some of our other goodies that we got. And those are some of our larger florals. So I've got some red roses. These are glitter roses. They were actually in the Christmas clearance as well at Michael's, y'all. They're on a stem. They've got some glitter on them. They've got some buds as well. And I also went to my stash and pulled some blue flowers that I thought would be pretty to add in as well. Just throughout our design to tie in that blue that we have. So let's go ahead and trim off just a couple of each. And then we'll kind of pepper those through. See what we like. That's going to bring in that blue that's in the box. Trim off these heads here. How fun is this? So pretty. I love the blue. I might strip the leaves off so that I just have the floral head. See if I can wedge some of these kind of down in between the boxes. Yeah, that's pretty like that, I think. I'm kind of laying this rose over on its side. Like that. All right, very pretty. So I'm gonna let those kind of rest like that, and I want to kind of start playing with some ribbon before I glue those in. So I pulled a whole bunch of different ones because I wanted to see what this looked like as I was designing before I actually committed to the ribbons for this project. So I bought some, this has red and pink that I think is pretty. This is a solid gold that I'll tie in with the gold of the box. This is a gold and a jute, that's very pretty. And then I pulled some just different blues as well. I'm loving this chinoiserie print. I think that might be one of our winners because it's going to bring that blue all the way around our design. And then I almost like either the solid gold or the red and pink stripe as well. So let's see. I think that's really pretty together. So we got the blue, the red, and the pink. Or just a blue and a gold. Let's go with these, I think. Let's be crazy. Let's mix two prints together. So both 1.5 inch budget ribbons for this project. So I'm going to start off with the tail. I'm going to do my regular classic 3-loop bow. Like that. I'm going to take my next ribbon, lay it right on top, do the same thing. Look how pretty. Grab me a pipe cleaner. Pop that around there. All right. Get my tails going in the same direction. Now I'm going to go right here in this little gap with my bow. Love it. Now sometimes when you take a little chance, you'll surprise yourself with the outcome. I love this. Combo together. Give those tails a little dove cut. Snip, snip. This ribbon here kind of reminds me of like the ribbon they put on chocolate boxes too. The little stripes. All right, I'm going to take a pipe cleaner. There's no pine twist down here at the bottom, so I'm going to take me a pipe cleaner and attach this down here through some of this mesh. Dove cut that. Look how fabulous that looks. I do think now we can go ahead and we can glue in our roses and things. So let's go ahead and start putting some glue on these now that my glue has reheated up and things. And then we're going to add in a little bit more ribbon throughout. Some of these, because I like exactly where they are, I'm not going to remove them with hopes that they'll just kind of stay right there. Like that. Right, now we can work some ribbon in over on the other side. We might do a little half bow right here. I think would be very pretty. So let's just do a tail and a loop. And then we'll stack the other on top. Kind of like we're starting a bow. And we'll go right there. In that little gap, you can kind of see where when you're designing, where you have a little gap, a little space that needs filled, where you'll be able to add something in. Drop some glue down there. Straighten that out a little bit. Okay. And I'll come out with the tail again over here. dove cut these up here. Alright, now we do need to incorporate some ribbon on the other side just so it matches. Whoops. Because we've got nothing happening over here on this side. So let's put our ribbons on top of each other. I'm going to go in here and twist this around. Push that up underneath of that. And I'll drop some glue on there in a moment. I'm going to come straight out the top almost. And back out with the tail once more. Alright, I got a little bit more of this ribbon, so I'm just going to make two little tails for over here on this side, right in here. I'm just going to lay one ribbon on top of the other. Pinch it towards the middle, go up in here, and pinch a branch over that ribbon. This is just going to give us some more tails. Okay, just like that. We still have this dude here. I can pop in somewhere. Y'all, you can stop whenever you like. You can keep adding and adding and adding. I might even put one of these dudes in here. They're kind of fun too, right? Maybe white. Maybe some of these. These are some little champagne. These are more Hobby Lobby little picks. You can just throw in here as well. Kind of work some of these in. Again, everything is optional. You can do whatever you like. You can stop whenever you are content with creating. More. All right, love those. Little pop of champagne color in there. And we'll glue these in, and then we'll be done, y'all. All right. And just like that, y'all. Adding in a little different color for Valentine's Day. Hope this inspired all of you. Super pretty how it turned out using those chocolate boxes. You guys get out there and get creating. Y'all be kind to one another, and I'll be seeing y'all soon. Bye, y'all.